Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to go through a unit review of the new Strength Videl, who's recently come out on DBZ Dokkan Battle Global. So for those of you who do not know, Videl is a Pepe Gals and a Defenders of Justice lead. It's a new category that's been added into the game. Her super attack effects are raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, and also causes immense damage to the enemy. And then when she has a Gohan or a Great Saiyaman or Gohan Teen or a Ultimate Gohan on her team, she activates her unit super attack, which is greatly raises attack, also causes her to raise her defense for 1 turn, and causes immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. So she gains a couple additional effects based on her super attack and the unit super attack. Then in terms of her passive, it's a pretty nuts passive. It's attack and defense 154%, high chance of evading enemies attack including super attack before she attacks, plus an additional attack of 58% when attacking. Attacks are effective against all types within the same turn after evading an attack, plus an additional attack of 50% within the same turn after receiving an attack. Launches an additional super attack as the first or second attacker in the turn, plus an additional 58% attack and high chance of evasion if she is in the 3rd slot. Basically what this means is that if Videl evades an attack and then takes a hit, she will basically be doing attack and defense of 154% plus 58% plus 58% plus 58% if she is in the 1st or 2nd slot with a guaranteed 2nd super. She also has an active skill which can be activated after the 4th turn of battle, same requirements as her unit super attack, and that will cause her to have attack plus 20% and defense minus 20% for the remainder of battle. Because of the way this effect works in conjunction with the way her passive multiplies itself out, Videl is pretty nuts when it comes to offensive damage, and her defense is honestly not that bad. In terms of links, she has Courage, which is a key link, pretty common amongst Earthling units, so it's something that she kinda needs on her Earthlings team. Money, which is like a random key link between her, Hercule units, and some Bulma units. Cold Judgment, which is a somewhat common defensive link. It really helps her out. It's great because Tien has it, and she can really link well with him on the Earthlings team or a Majin Buu Saga team, and a couple other Pepe Gals units do have it, so that's also really helpful, but it's a good link for her to have in terms of defense. Then of course we have Infighter, which raises her attack as well, lowers the enemy's defense, which is great. Although nothing procs off of this, she can really get some nuts attack damage out of it. Champion Strength, which is really only a Videl and Hercule link. Not so bad, but not too great either. It's a here nor there. Champion Strength is one of those links that's kind of uncommon, but it's just there thematically. And then Battlefield Diva, which is allowing her to link on a Pepe Gals team. Basically every unit that's meant to be on a Pepe Gals team has Battlefield Diva. Overall, her link set's okay. And by okay I mean it's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as people have you make it out to believe. She has a lot of units she can get 3 links with, and she has a lot of units that she can get, some of the crucial links like Cold Judgment with, Courage, things like that. So she will generate ki. She will be fine from a point of view, and she can generate some defense or attack. It's difficult to get like a 4 linking unit, but we'll find one or get one down the line eventually. After you activate her active skill, she will change appearance, which is kind of cute. And then that's pretty much it from Videl's side. She's only in 4 categories: Pepe Gals, Earthlings, Majin Buu Saga, and the Defenders of Justice. So the first team we're going to try her on is the Defenders of Justice team. We are cheating somewhat because we're using basically a Majin Buu Saga lead as the lead. But that kind of highlights the fact that you really just need Videl if you want to run her on, if you want to run her teams. If you want to run Pepe Gals, if you want to run Defender of Justice, there's no real alternative leads, and especially not alternative leads with the kind of stats that Videl gives them, 170% across the board. So the difficulty lies in the fact that you basically need Videl to run those teams to their fullest effect. That being said, it's good to highlight that with Videl, that's one of her benefits slash cons if you look at it that way, that her categories are so small and lack a secondary leader. Of course, that is just one of those things. It is just part of the way some of these units are coming out now. Videl is pretty much fantastic on every team she can be on. So you could stick her on Majin Buu Saga, she'll be great. Stick her on Defenders of Justice, she'll obviously be great. It's her team. Pepe Gal, she's the best unit on there. And yeah, I mean, Earthling, she's probably also the best unit on there. So overall, it's just one of those things with Videl. If you have her, or if you want to use her, she is going to be the best unit probably that you're going to use. It's just that impressive. So we only have Infighter active here. We do have the support from the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. You can see this is a 55% Videl with a crazy defensive stat. Remember, she's going to stack her defense and she's going to fire 2 super attacks already in that first slot. So not only is she going to 2.2 million, very impressive. Only Infighters active. Very, very, very impressive. Look at that. 2.2 million, 2.4 million. Remember, she's raising attacks, so these are permanent stacks of attack raising that she's got. And of course, she's raised her defense twice, so the 140,000's jumped up already twice more, by 20% and 20% on top of that. So we're looking at like 170k defense, and the unit that just hit for 4 million. So pretty nuts. In terms of build, you really want to go for a split here. You really want to go for more additional over crit, but you do want to go for a split, probably 15 additional 10 crits the way you want to go. The reason is that if Videl does evade, which she has a pretty good chance of doing in the first slot, you're going to trigger the effective against all types mechanic, and she's going to want to get additionals, and since she has a guaranteed additional, she can triple super, so it's pretty nuts what she can do in a turn. That will also raise her defense, so overall it's pretty crazy. From that aspect as well, you can farm Videl's SA. You can farm her SA by farming the Videl from stage 1 of Videl's flying technique tutorial. You can get her SA from there, so she is farmable, and yeah, just pretty awesome unit overall. I mean, that single turn was pretty great. Pretty much showed us exactly what we wanted to see from her. So I think, already we've basically seen everything we need to see. What we're going to do here is we are going to, so you can see there's plenty of Gohan options to activate her unit super attack. I don't think her unit super attack or her active skill conditions actually hold her back, except maybe on the Earthlings team. That's pretty much the only place you're going to have that problem. But you could run the Great Saiyaman 2 and I think it activates it as well. So overall, it's actually not really that big a deal. Videl is actually pretty much impressive the whole way through, which is really good. I think for units that are so limited like Videl, they need to be super impressive on like every single category. I think that's like the #1 way they can be really impressive. And you can see here she's just lumbering these big attack stats, firing off multiple attacks because she's guaranteed to. She's got high defense. There we didn't even have her additional attack triggered or anything. She's just very impressive overall. And yeah, I'm very impressed with Videl. I've used her in a couple of events, obviously, to film some videos and everything like that. But I think she's just a very good unit. I think it's a shame that she does come between the anniversary and the worldwide celebration. I think she's the kind of unit who I wish Dokkan would make more of. A lot of times everyone gets so caught up on the Gojitas and the Vegetos and the Vegeta and the Goku and the Gohans and getting such a cool Videl I think is so good for the game. And people will complain about the categories, and I get that. She's not a unit you can stick on 1,000 teams, and she doesn't dominate every event and finish everything for you because she can't complete every single challenge like a Vegeta can because it's on 15,000 categories. But just having these kind of selective units, or these units that are a bit more nuanced than other units, or have a bit more of a niche slot in the game, I think is great. Like Defenders of Justice is a fun, cute little category. Yes, it's mainly free-to-play cards, but it's a fun, cute little category. It has some interesting cards on it. It's got a cool vibe about it. It's got some quirky animations. It's something that when I run it and I'm farming an event or links or anything or whatever, I really enjoy it. It's quite fun. It's just a nice break from all the massive Kamehamehas and world stomping Broly attacks and everything. So I have no problem with units like this. Right here, we're probably getting the best turn we can. We're getting 3 links here. This is a very decent linking partner for them. 3 links. 133,000 defense. Obviously, she's not benefiting from the special force or the special pose category buff from the tech unit. But overall, we've got the 3 links. So we're going to activate the active skill and watch that. So quite the lengthy active skill, but very, very cute, very endearing scene from the anime. She, as you can see, has dropped in defense. She's now at 107,000. She'll still stack her defense, so she'll still get to a decent point. Generally, I suggest activating the active skill when you are finishing off an event rather than the whole way through. Her extra defense is probably going to help her more, and she does plenty damage without it. But that being said, yeah, the active skill is great. It's very cute. It's quite easy to activate, and her damage just shoots up. It's very impressive how much damage she can do. So yeah, overall, pretty awesome showing from Videl. Offensively brilliant, defensively good. She's not a bad defensive unit. Her evasion does help her. Her defense stack can get to a very decent point. 55% unit can get to, or is at 100 and something thousand, 120, 130,000 before supering, and then after supering will be at like 170. That's very good. Her evasion helps her. You can move her to 3rd slot if you really need her to activate an even higher level of evasion. The only issue is she doesn't have something like damage reduction, and she doesn't stack defense, so she does struggle a little bit there. But overall, that's not too much of a big issue. For a unit like Videl that's doing so much damage, it's well worth it to trade off a little bit of defensive security. And I just think, yeah, she's great. And like I said, she's not even defensively bad. It's not like she's a liability or anything. It's literally just that she's not, like a golden Frieza or a Vegeta or something like that, where they're like, oh my god, they can't take any damage. Wow, she's just good defensively. Solid defensive unit, but exceptional offensively, like absolutely exceptional. So yeah, I think that's her main stick. You bring her in for these big boy attack stats. You're not bringing her in because hey, she tanks well. she tanks alright, but you're not bringing her in for that. You're bringing her in for these big boy attack stats. And yeah, even on this Pepe Gal's team, where we're running just a second 120% lead, she's still hitting such good attack stats, and attack stats that are just generally way higher than the rest of her team, and that's just so impressive. It's just great. So the way her passive works, just in case anyone needs some clarity, Videl before firing a super attack will have a high chance to evade. So generally, to get the most out of her offensively, you want to stick her in the 1st slot. The reason you want to do this is because if you stick her in the 1st slot, most times an enemy will attack before Videl attacks. She then has a 50% chance to dodge that attack. When she dodges that attack, she will activate her attacks effective against all types. When that unit then hits her, or if that unit hits her, it will also increase her offense by 58%. This attack buff will then be augmented further by the additional buff she gets when she fires a super attack. Which means if we trigger all of these conditions, Videl will be hitting nuts damage. Even at 55%, she'll be hitting nuts damage. And that's the thing about Videl. She can really, if you proc everything, she can hit nuts, insane damage. Even without it, she hits good damage, but with it, she can hit enormous damage. And that's really the thing. She is just that impressive. So that's her main benefit. Obviously, the rest of it is if you stick her in the 3rd slot, she will have that evasion the full time. She won't just have it before she attacks. So that's how her defense gets augmented in the 3rd slot. Of course, in the 1st or 2nd slot, she's guaranteed a 2nd super. So the main thing is if you activate that attack's effective against all types, she is not only going to be rocking a 2nd super, but she's going to be rocking a 2nd super, and it's going to be attacks effective against all types. So that damage is just going to skyrocket and be nuts. So yeah, that is something to highlight. Obviously, Videl's defense is looking pretty good. Remember, we're operating a 120% lead. with a 170% lead, so we are running actually at lower stats than usual, but she's still hitting some very, very, very good numbers. This is a 55% Videl, and we've got 3 links activated, so yeah, she's looking pretty sharp, looking pretty good. We haven't had like the greatest support or anything, but that's fine. You know, you got to show these units on the type of teams. We could swap in like an Intra Brienne or something, give her a bit more of a bonus, give her a bit more of a buff, but overall she's very, very solid. So very impressed with Videl so far. We'll take her into some other content, of course, try her out in other stages, but she's just going to dominate in whatever she can be in. She's just that kind of unit. She's just built that way. So, but we'll definitely try her out in a whole bunch of stages, probably on Pepe Gal's teams. It's just going to be for the best, because that's kind of where the most synergy lies. In terms of running a Defenders of Justice team, it's pretty difficult if you don't have Videl. Otherwise, you got to run like a 77% lead, which is fine, but it's not a fair showcase of what this unit can do. And an Earthlings team is the same thing. A lot of the Earthlings don't double fit under Videl's lead, so unless you have Videl, you can't just go out and run like a Krillin and a Videl friend if you don't have it. If I had her, I could run, you know, a Earthlings team and it'd be fine, but yeah, we're just gonna have to make do. We'll do her active skill again, 116k defense, and we'll come back afterwards. So again, very, very cute. We're gonna see, I think we're gonna see probably the biggest attack stat of the day from Videl. So 92,000 after the active skill. Still a very solid amount. Remember, she's gonna fire off 2 attacks. She's gonna be stacking 20% on top of those. So we get the dodge and then we get hit. I think we do get hit. We don't know. We don't get hit. Okay, so we don't get hit, but still a absolutely monstrous attack stat from Videl. So yeah, pretty nuts overall. And I actually think we avoid attacks here, and then we get an even bigger attack stat next turn. But yeah, that's the thing. Once she gets that evasion, which you can see, it procs and it basically does 1.5 times that damage amount. It ignores type difference, so it's very, very, very good. And that's why we go for the additional over the crit. Although, like I said, she's probably one of the few units where really a split is just the best way to go on her, because that proccing could be somewhat unreliable. You still want the ability to crit on both of your attacks, but you still want the ability to potentially fire off a third attack. So really a split's just where you're going to want to go with this. I know from the APT boys, the people that want to go for the max best build, it's 15 additional and 10 crit. But that being said, yeah, she's just very, very impressive. Even that 92,000, you know, it will stack again. She'll get back above 100k, and that's more than fine. She loses her evasion after firing off super attacks unless she's in the 3rd slot, so that does slightly decrease her viability in terms of defense, but really it's not that much of a muchness. When you're popping attack stats like this, she's just very, very impressive. So yeah, overall I'm quite happy with her. She links her out on her teams. I mean, she's got Earthlings she can link to, she's got Pepe Gal she can link to, she's got Defenders of Justice she can link to. Yes, she's not popping like 4 or 5 links every time, but she's got enough to get her key going. Everything's perfectly fine from that end, so really I don't have a problem with how Videl's working right now. I'm really quite happy with it, so yeah, pretty good, pretty happy with the showcase. So we'll get the hit here and the dodge, so we've got everything activated here, and 4.2 million. That's effective against all types if she doesn't crit. So yeah, pretty nuts. Remember, she would have fired a second attack, which would have been higher because she would have, you know, stacked her attack. The only issue you're going to have on the Pepe Gal's team is obviously activating that unit super attack, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. As you can see, she does more than fine without it. So yeah, very impressed with Videl. Offensively brilliant, defensively good. I'm going to give her a solid kind of 8.5. I really like the vibe. She's not like a mega ultra unit. She can do crazy attacks, so she's definitely in the top on the offensive bracket. But yeah, she's awesome. And I think her active skills are great. Her super attack animations are great. Obviously simping, as one should for Videl. But yeah, very good. Very good overall. So we'll take a look at her links now. We'll just have a quick look at how her linking is. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit all over the place. They kind of make up for her lack of a solid key link by giving her 3 very average key links. But that's okay. So the main key link we're going to have on the Pepe Gals team is obviously Battlefield Diva. Every single Pepe Gals pretty much has this, so it makes linking for key not so bad on their team, which is fine. That's great from her aspect. The easiest link to activate afterwards is probably going to be Fierce Battle. Fierce Battle is like the most common attack link, and it's one of the few attack links she's going to be able to get. You can see here all the options that do have Fierce Battle. The Universe 6 units I don't really suggest because they're kind of meant to pair with themselves. You obviously want to run Kale with Khalifa and everything like that. You could run her with Weskai. Weskai does also have Courage, but she's not providing any buff to her or anything. But again, this is more just to see who she can link with rather decently. And all these units are pretty okay. They're all perfectly fine in terms of linking. They all have Fierce Battle. They all have Battlefield Diva. So they'll give her something. They'll give her some kind of boost. And if you go for Weskai, she'll also get Courage. Not that she needs the attack links, but hey, what can you do in terms of that? Then the next couple links that we're going to take a look at, obviously from a key link point of view, money is another key link. She shares it with Hercule units as well. So there is money, there's Courage, and there's Battlefield Diva. So like I said, they kind of make up for a lack of a decent key link by giving her 3 kind of rare ones that she can link with, like Hercules or Earthlings or Pepe Gals, which is fine. It's really much of a muchness. There's some Defenders of Justice who also have the money link, but overall it's mainly just so she can link with Hercules. That being said, it's still a pretty decent link to have. She does link with Bulla, who also shares it with her, but Bulla's not really on the Earthlings team. She's on the Pepe Gals team, but she's in need of an easy A anyway. Chi-Chi has the Courage link, which is a pretty good link to share with the Videl. Courage is obviously another one of the key links, but Chi-Chi is a pretty good pairing partner for her because Chi-Chi obviously provides a incredible defensive buff, 200%, which is pretty nuts. The Great Sandman 2 is a free-to-play option that also shares 3 links with Videl. We used her in our showcase video, which is also, again, pretty good. There's lots of free-to-play options that do share 2 or 3 links with Videl, so that is a solid option there. And then, of course, Weskai, who we mentioned earlier, who shares 3 links with Videl as well: Courage, Fierce Battle, and Battlefield Diva. So as you can see, there's plenty of options that share 3 or 2 links with Videl, that give her a key, that give her some kind of attack buff. The main issue is finding units that essentially have all of her links. There's no real unit like that out there until we get something like maybe a Videl GT or like a Videl Hidden Potential Unlocked, which never really happened. It's going to be quite difficult to get her a super pairing partner. Maybe at some stage we could get something similar, like maybe a World Tournament Chi-Chi, who will maybe have a similar link set, which would be quite nice, like a new one with a slightly closer link set. The Tien here shares Cold Judgment, which is great for Videl. He also shares Courage as well, Fierce Battle, so he's a very nice option for her. Remember, she's also on the Majin Buu Saga category, and his passive also provides a buff to that category. He's pretty much the best linker out of this slot. Krillin's not too great. The Time Traveling Mai is alright, and the Tapion is okay. He shares like Courage with her in Fierce Battle. But overall, yeah, there's a lot of units that share 2 or 3 links with her. There's no real big time unit that you can kind of just shove next to her. Your best bet's to go with something like Tien, who provides her with some of her key buff and then a big boost from his passive. Those kind of units are going to be super vital for her to boost her defense or to boost her attack stat. And the way it stacks, it's going to just pay off really big time. Units like this Hercule here, who's got Champion Strength as well, are decent options, but Champion Strength is really just not a link that we want to look after. It's not really worth it. He also loses it when he transforms into Buu, so he's really not that great right off the bat. Champion strength is okay, but like I said, it's really only Hercule units and Videl units that have it. Like literally, that's the only ones that have it. I thought maybe they'd give it to like some World Tournament Gokus or something, or maybe Piccolos or Tiens, or some kind of like mix up of the Link to give it some vibe, like a World Tournament winning Tien or something like that. Maybe might be cool. I don't even think Tien won the World Tournament, so that's a no-go. Yeah, maybe just a World Tournament winning Goku, something like that maybe. But there's plenty of interesting options to make a solid pairing partner for Videl, and there are plenty more interesting units that can come out, so it's not really too much of an issue. The Int Hercule shares champion strength with her, but as you can see, the pool of units with that link is crazy small. So yeah, and since Videl can't link with other Videl named units, it's pretty much game over. Even with the same name update that's coming soon, it's not going to be able for Videl to link up or anything like that. So yeah, just for clarity. But that being said, that's about it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, as always, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next one. But until then, cheers and bye.